What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing tonight's game between the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks. And of course, if you watch any video like this in the past, you know that this is my Bulls report. And to set things off for the mood of today's video and tonight's video, of course, we know that this is the second time in a few games that the Bulls did play the Knicks. They are coming off a loss in overtime. So, of course, tonight was a way to bounce back and look for other ways to basically win the game instead of the end result that happened the other night. And honestly, I can say tonight did start off well. You had Patrick Williams did make the first basket of the game. You know, he looked engaged early. You know, the Bulls looked engaged early, but the Knicks did make 2 threes in the first minute of the game. And that was just a tall tale of tonight's matchup. You seen Vucevic get his early paint touches. I feel like the matchup between him and Mitchell Robinson, definitely Vooch took into account what happened in the first game, and he started going at Mitchell Robinson early, which I liked a lot. You saw Patrick Williams being aggressive, but the Knicks' three-point shooting was the story in this entire game. You know, the Bulls did start off, on a great 13-2 run. Bulls was out running early and defending, but they were giving up open shots from three to like guys like Quentin Grimes. So, Billy started to shake it up a little bit. He figured, let him throw Drummond in a little early. Drummond got in foul trouble. And when by foul trouble, I mean 3 fouls in the first quarter. That was a problem because that kept him off the floor towards, the middle parts of the second quarter going into the half. Then, the Bulls were up 3 in the first, and they did shoot 66% from the field. So I'm like, okay, this is good. This is what you want to see. Now in the second, due to the game not being called in the way that the Bulls would seem fit, right? You seen technical fouls called on DeRozan. You seen technical fouls being called on Vucevic, but the Bulls were getting beat on the glass. They were not rebounding, and this was a problem the entire game. You would see the Knicks shoot and, second chance points. You would see the Bulls shoot, one and dones. Nobody's in a white jersey is nowhere near the paint. You seen just guys lacking effort as the game went on. The Bulls looked like they were just outclassed from quarters 2 on. The Knicks ended up going on a 10-2 run at one point. The Bulls were down, the Bulls start the half. They were down 10 at halftime. No, they were down, I believe, 7. And then they ended up being down 10 to start the quarter. The Bulls looked awful in the third. I mean, they looked terrible. In the third quarter, that was basically where you saw guys looking dejected. You saw guys uninterested. You saw guys allowing the Knicks to take the game to them. Jalen Brunson had a hell of a night. Julius Randle had a hell of a night. R.J. Barrett had a hell of a night. Quentin Grimes, Mitchell Robinson. The list goes on and on about the Knicks players that took and imposed their will upon this game. The Bulls, honestly, to speak on what happened as far as, 14-0 second chance points at one point in the game. No offensive rebounds for Chicago. I believe it was at one point the Bulls had 1 offensive rebound, and that came from Gervonta Davis. The Bulls were down 12 to start the fourth. Nobody wearing a Bulls jersey was crashing the boards. They were down 18 in the fourth, and it was just on and on and on all night. The Knicks shot somewhere around, I believe it was somewhere around 15 made threes tonight. That's coming off of the last game where he made somewhere around 15 threes. The Bulls looked outmatched in tonight's game. They looked like a team that didn't want to be out there. They looked like a team that's looking for answers. They look like a team that's in need of some type of spark. They look like a team that right now, they are the worst team in the East. I don't care what Charlotte, I don't care what, Washington, Orlando, I don't know. But right now, the Chicago Bulls look like the worst team in the East. They look like a team that doesn't have 3 All-Stars. They look like a team that doesn't have the caliber of talent that they have. They look like a team that, honestly, if I wasn't a fan for as long as I have been, I would not watch them. That's me being honest. Tonight was an embarrassment. Tonight was an all-out ass kicking. Seriously, I just feel like what I seen from the Bulls as a whole in the last week, losing to Atlanta, losing to the Knicks back-to-back, and now you have to go on the road. It's going to be a long road swing. The Bulls have to wake up. I say this all the time. To quote Yogi Berra, it gets early late. The Bulls have to wake up. They need some sense of urgency. They have none right now. Last season, you can afford, you had the affordability, if that's a word, to, be laxed in certain games. But not this year. Not with how, the upper echelon of your conference is playing. Not how Cleveland is playing, and Indiana, and Miami, and Philadelphia, and Boston, and Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. You can't afford to start out the gates like this, because what's going to happen in January, February, March? Zoe is not returning no time soon. We can forget that. We can stop looking ahead and say, well, when Zoe come back, we're going to be like this. We have to stop using that excuse and look at the players that's out there. Let's get in some of the tonight's stats, and I'll run down, how guys performed or underperformed. You let me know, and to your guys' opinion. Of course, it's always, give and take with how some guys come out at home as opposed to the road. But as I look at the box score of tonight's matchup, and I look at what the Bulls were capable of, but let's get into this first, right? The Knicks did have four players in double figures, and 3 of those players had over 20. That's Grimes, Brunson, and Barrett. Julius Randle did have a double-double with 19 and 12. Now, as far as three-point makes were concerned, you had 5 from Grimes, 6 from Brunson, 3 from Barrett, and 2 from Randle. On the Bulls end of the scope, you had DeRozan minus 23 plus minus. He had 14 points, 4 turnovers, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. And turnovers were a gaping hole in tonight's game for Chicago to go along with the rebounding or lack thereof. I don't know what poses players. This is one of the things that burns me up when I watch any level of basketball. When you're in the air, what poses you to want to pass the ball? The probability of that being a turnover, in my opinion, is like 99%. The 1% is like guys that luckily get this pass off while they're in the air. So that was a problem for the Bulls. A lot of turnovers to go along with the lack of rebounding. So DeRozan had 14 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Patrick Williams, I did appreciate what he did tonight. 10 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. Vucevic, a lackluster performance, 9 points, 8 rebounds. Zach LaVine tried. He had 17 points, 5 turnovers, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Alex Caruso, who I'm hearing rumblings about his offense, 9 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. Dragic, 9 points off the bench, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Kobe White, lackluster performance, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Drummond, who was in foul trouble, did not score at all tonight. Four personal fouls, 5 rebounds. Javonte Green with 7 points, 3 rebounds. Derrick Jones Jr., who too came on a pretty good play, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Ayo Dosunmu, 5 points, 3 assists. And altogether, the Bulls turned the ball over 20 times. And tonight just wasn't a good overall performance by the Chicago Bulls. Like I said, they're looking for answers. I don't know if it's going to come in the sense of the 3 All-Stars waking up and realizing that right now is the time, or it's going to have to be some house cleaning. Should the Bulls hit the panic button? I believe so. Right now, it's urgent for them to right the ship. They have to correct their wrongs. There is nothing more that they can do right now playing the way they play. They don't get to the line as much as they should. You know, not enough driving and kicking. They don't have any outside shooting presence. You know, other than Vucevic with the post game, they lack that. It's a lot of wrongs that the Bulls need to right on this ship this season. I don't know if they need, you know, a dire trade or hit the rebuild, or I don't know right now. All I'm going to say is tonight was an embarrassment. Tonight was one of those, they laid an egg, but we know what they're capable of because they do have the talent. But again, like I said, the Chicago Bulls have no sense of urgency right now with their group. And I'm hoping in the future that some sense of awakening happens before they be on the outside looking in as we turn the page to a new year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bulls fans, Knicks fans, or if you're just an NBA fan, it's always greatly appreciated to hear from you guys. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.